Subscribe to the Vedanta Vision YouTube channel and tap the bell icon. You'll get notified whenever we upload a new inspirational video.
In one of the Upanishads, one of the most important Upanishads called Chandogya Upanishad, there is a conversation between Narada, a learned sage, and Sanat Kumara. So Narada is a much learned person, but doesn't have peace of mind. And he goes in utter humility to Sanat Kumara for knowledge. So Sanat Kumara tells him, "You tell me what you know and I'll fill in the gaps." So Narada says, "I know everything." He gives a huge list of the subjects that he knows. But he admits, he says, "I am only mantravid. I only have information. I don't have wisdom. I am not Atmavid. And therefore, I don't have peace of mind. I'm not a calm person. And that's what I want. I have heard that you've got to be Atmavid. You have to have knowledge of Atman to be a peaceful person, to be a fulfilled person. So please teach me that." And Narada says that you need knowledge of self to cross over sorrow. Tarati shokam, tarati pap. So papmanam means papa is mental agitation, shoka is sorrow. You need knowledge of self to get to that. So Sanat Kumara says, that which is bhuma, infinite, gives happiness. That which is alpa, finite, has no happiness in it. So although worldly knowledge is necessary, you need knowledge of the world. A surgeon needs knowledge of medicine, a chartered accountant needs a different kind of knowledge, a lawyer needs knowledge, you and I need worldly knowledge. But all the worldly knowledge is useless if it is not backed by knowledge of the self. And this is something that we in the modern world do not understand, and therefore we have relegated spiritual knowledge to the background and give all importance to worldly knowledge. So starts Sanat Kumara's education of Narada in a different kind of way, and that is internal. So he starts with sense organs, Bahya Karanas. Sense organs give you knowledge of the world, which is blurred, disconnected by itself until the mind comes into play. The mind puts it into a cohesive image, cohesive experience. It brings order, precision, clarity to your experiences of the world. Because let's take a look at your sense organs. You see, that's a separate experience. Hear, smell, taste, touch. All these five need to be brought together into one experience. Only then it means something to you. And that is the role of the mind. So, but this mind, which has power, loses its power and becomes sense-bound when it's infatuated with the experiences of sense organs. So, freed from the thraldom of the senses, the mind gathers unto itself. It becomes powerful. It develops a weightlessness, a transparency, translucence, and has the capacity to take off into higher flights, for which you must exercise that mind in a particular way. Similarly, the intellect has great penetrating power. But again, you use that intellect only to decide whether you want dudhi for dinner or bhindi. I'm not saying you should not think what to have for dinner, but the intellect can't be used only for that. Then it loses its power. That intellect has the capacity to penetrate through unknown realms and bring the transcendental into your purview. What a fine intellect it is. That is the last organ to go before realization, and therefore that must be protected. Intellect must be developed, intellect must be strengthened, sharpened to reach higher realms. It becomes the light of the intellect turns from a dim light to a blazing but soothing light of the Bodhi, the wise.